Monochrome GT4 Australia. I like doing things differently, whether it's jewellery or racing cars. It's all fast, it's all beautiful. People come to us because they want an elevated level of detail. They want something really special. I always use a hashtag, for instance, on social media, of real jeweller. That's because I am a real jeweller. I pick up the metal, I pick up the tools, file it, hack it, saw it, hammer it, but shape it and create that special vision that I'm looking for. There's a real beauty about making a great piece of jewellery, creating something that looks good, that touches someone's heart, that resonates with what they're about. The championship ring comes from a piece that I started making many, many years ago. This I wanted to go on the journey of bring a bit of GTs in it, so it's got a little bit of wing in it. It's got 2 shock absorbers sitting on the back of it. It's got some carbon fibre inlay. It's got some cues out of race cars in it. I'm trying to tap into something that motivates people and they can see that it's not your average piece of jewellery. It's easy to go, oh, here, stick some diamonds in it, slap some logos on it. I want something that people look at and go, wow, I want it real. That's cool, I want one of those.
Mark Cotterill, we love having him racing here with us at the Shannon Speeds here, and we love what he's crafted. So the piece of jewellery there for the champion this year, he said it's valued around $12,000, $14,000, but in actual fact, he's gone hard on that, and it's valued well into the 20-odd thousand. So it's a prize worth winning.
It is a prize worth winning. I'll tell you what else is worth winning. GT4 at Bathurst, and that's coming up very shortly. What a day of racing it's been. We've got so much more coming up tomorrow as well. Yep.
Well, that's it. We've got 6 different manufacturers. Monochrome GT4 has really taken a massive leap this year. We've loved seeing it as a standalone category, and you've got Porsches out there. You've got all sorts of different cars, the McLarens, there's exotic cars, and I love that mix because you've got Ginetta, you've got even a Mustang or two. Like, it's just there's something for everyone in this lot.
Not just a Mustang or two, but globally for the GT4 car, they got their first ever pole position and race win in Australia as part of this category at Phillip Island earlier this year. We've got more Mustangs out here now as well, but the McLarens have been in the mix. I've been lucky to be calling a lot of this racing and involved in it. I really love this category, and I think it's had a wonderful year.
And the 3 gentlemen in our commentary box, they love this category as well.
Yes, Stubbsy, we certainly do. Monochrome GT4 Australia, and this has been epic racing every time this category is taken to the track for the Shannon's Speed Series, and what a venue to wrap this one up. Joined by Richard Crail and Rusty, who has made his way yet again back up to the commentary box. Gents, this is going to be cool.
Yeah, it sure is. And lots of stories to unpack out of this weekend so far too, James. So hearing stories of more Mustangs, I think at least 4 that are going to be a part of this in 2025. George Miedeke and the family picking up the distributorship, if you like, for Australia in the past couple of weeks. Their car, you can see there to the right of screen on row 2, Seaton and Lockie Dalton on the front row. That Buckby Motors backed Mercedes AMG GT4. They've got a strong presence in motorsport, and Buckby Motors backing final round of the Australian Rally Championship, which you can see here on 7plus in a couple of weeks' time from Burnie in Tasmania too.
Down there for that.
I will be.
Looking forward to a bit of ARC action. Yeah, this has been a great year, and the racing's been really entertaining. Queensland Raceway, I think, was a highlight for mine with the 3-hour enduro that came right down to the wire. We had teammates trading paint. We had all kinds of overlapping stories throughout that, and Sydney Motorsport Park a couple of weeks ago was really entertaining as well. There are championships on the line. Some have been decided. Some have been decided today, so we can officially congratulate Shane Smollen and Lockie Beneath in the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 for wrapping up the Pro-Am Cup. That is done and dusted. So the only way that championship was going to go down to the wire was if their closest rivals, which was Ryder Quinn and Steve Jackie, got pole. They didn't get it, so the championship went to the Porsche, as we confirmed the grid, and it was Lockie Dalton who did the job with a 2:13.1 in qualifying. Great lap time to get pole with Seaton and Gomersal alongside. Really good job in the Ford Mustang. Miedeke just behind them. Then that Porsche we were just talking about via Lockie Beneath in 4th. Just 0.8 of a second, covering the top 7 cars from 5 different brands in qualifying. Awesomely close and competitive in a really diverse field.
And it's been like that, different kind of flavour depending on where we're racing, and it's great to see that AMG up the front. As we look further back, Augustine, who has been absolutely on fire as well. Those two cars, those BMWs, I remember in Sydney Motorsport Park, they were battling it out. John Bauer, who knows this place better than the back of his hand, I'm probably wagering. Absolutely loving working his way through the field, and also partnering with a very, very exciting driver too. He is full of praise for him. So it'll be an interesting up and down the field grid too. Ryder Quinn starts behind Lockie Manif, and he has been rapid in that BMW all year. So he'll be wanting to get the job done quickly through turn 1 and 2.
Ryder's really sharp at the moment too, coming off a career best Carrera Cup weekend on the streets of Surfers Paradise a couple of weeks ago that you would have seen on the screens of 7, so he's sharp as attack, driving really, really well. Looking forward to seeing Dalton versus Seaton. That's a great fight with George Miedeke playing into that, knowing they've got Ryland Gray to plug into the Lubramax Ford Mustang in the second half of the race. That's going to be really good fun. And the other one, of course, is the silver class McLaren Artura GT4 with Marcus Flack behind the wheel. It's car 25, goes out of 7th. Missed pole by 0.8 of a second and was 7th. The start of the year, if you were 0.8 off pole, you were on the second row of the grid. So it shows you how deep this field is getting, how everyone, as they're learning the cars, the longest lap of the season, it's one of the closest fields we've had so far this year.
And the inertia, the excitement for 2025, I can't begin to tell you. When you wander through this paddock at the moment, there's all sorts of chat about it. Even Mark Cottrell, we had that lovely feature there at the top of the segment. He wasn't giving too much away when we spoke with him yesterday. He's been a genetic campaigner in recent time. But he said, yeah, you know what, maybe there might be a change of mark for 2025. You know the Porsche family pretty well, and I think there's a few more of those coming into the country too, isn't there?
There could be a Porsche subclass in its own right next year if all the rumours are true.
True, yeah.
The 718 Cayman's a very good race car and very popular globally. Yeah, there was an Audi on the grid earlier this year, which we've seen, and we know that car will be back, and talk of more of those, and also talk of Toyota Supra coming into the mix as well, which would be really cool for all the Toyota fans. And of course, they're having quite a big splash in motorsport in this part of the world at the moment, which would be great to see. So it's a category with an enormous amount of potential, and it's been a terrific launch pad year, having run with production cars last season and run at this venue for the first time last season in their own right. They're broken away as a standalone category, James, and it's been a great show. And right now it'll be Mercedes, Ford, Porsche, McLaren and BMW at the front of the field for the penultimate race of the season.
To make our way down the main straight, and all eyes to the lights of Monochrome Australia GT4. And it's Dalton from Seaton, and it's lights out. Here we go, right into turn 1. This is an all-important start. And the Mercedes-AMG manages to cover off, but Miedeke up on the inside of Seaton. It's Mustang on Mustang. A bit of dust in the background there, but here comes Ryder Quinn as well. As I said, he is not going to mess around.
That was Zoe Woods in the TechWorks Porsche, the IRC Iron Boats car, off the road on the outside of turn 1. So Zoe dropped a couple of spots there. That's the blue and orange and white Porsche, middle of shot now as they run up to Griffin's for the first time. The Randall Racing BMW in the mix. Tell you what, no love lost between the two Mustangs on the run through turn 1 there. Miedeke was aggressive, elbowed Aaron Seaton out of the way. And how about the surnames in that all-Ford battle?
Awesome. Some youngsters and some youngsters at heart. Lockie Dalton leads from George Miedeke. He rode his Harley Davidson down here, did with his father-in-law. He was on his bike as well. They did about 3 hours, I think, from Port down to where the Greys are from, Denham, and then another 3-hour jaunt to Mount Panorama. Nice way to come to the Bathurst International.
And Dalton had a very good start, but we've seen this time and time again, George Miedeke is exceptionally quick in this Mustang.
Manif shortcuts and gets a curb strike essentially across the top in the runoff. So that's okay. You can't gain any advantage from that though, and if you do, you need to give it back immediately. But no harm, no foul there for car number 1, and the car that has wrapped up that Pro-Am Championship already this year. But little heart-in-mouth moment for Lockie Manif in the Shane Smollen Method Motorsport Porsche, but it's Mercedes AMG leading the way in Monochrome GT4, and that's not something we've been able to say too much of this year. great to see it. Dalton going really well in the Buckley Motors car.
You detailed George Medicki in the start that he made there before. Tell you who else has made quite a jump, and he's just on the tail of that group there now. Hails from just, 20 minutes down the road. That's Tim Lay, position 5 there now in the BMW. He's almost on the tail of Ryder Quinn, who has a little bit of a look here. Not quite close enough to get by Seaton at the final corner.
We call him the Mayor of Orange, but I'd be willing to increase that based on what he's doing. I'm almost thinking Prince.
Yeah, Viscount.
Viscount Lay. Yeah, he does such an incredible job. Little moment from Medicki there on the exit of turn 1. Carried a lot of mid-corner speed through Hill Corner, and then got wide on that exit curve, and it's opened the door for Aaron Seaton to get by. Aaron, who stepped back from supercars competition this year to focus, and Ryder Quinn trying to make it 3 wide in the BMW. Big front engine rear drive GT4 cars, almost 3 wide to Griffins Bend.
Ryder Quinn, as I said earlier, will not wait. He is rapid, he is honed in, and of course, he is hungry for bigger things, and he has been very, very quick all over the place this year in Porsches, in this, as he looks around the outside.
There's no room there, Ryder.
He's deep in the mirrors.
He's got this softly spoken, beautiful personality. He's a different cat behind the wheel, isn't he? Out on the white line there before. Oh, how close was Medicki to the wall then?
He's a bit like his granddad, isn't he? Ryder, isn't he? He's quietly spoken, just goes about his business, but he's lots of when he gets up on the wheel. He's driving superbly, so the BMW right in the mix, and Medicki feels like the cork in the bottle at the moment. Viscount Lay just tacking on to the back of this one at the moment.
That's going to stick.
Yeah, I'm rolling with that. Hello to the good people of Orange. Manif Camilleri Augustine in the BMW Randall Racing number 33 car, leading the AM class and 8th outright. Marcus Flack, quiet start for the McLaren from Method Motorsport. I'm sort of scratching my head a little bit that they're not further up the field. And then just a special mention for the car running in 10th place. That's John Collins, the Sydney sider, whose mum, Sue Hughes, is running Radicals this weekend. Ryder just sticks the nose out at the chase on Aaron Seaton, but no move there just yet. John's done 3 laps in that car. Had a crash yesterday with Jason New behind the wheel, having had a podium at Sydney last time out. John filling in for Josh Buchan this weekend behind the wheel of that Zagami Motorsport car. Saw Rod Wilson, the team boss. They've got cautious plans to expand their program as well next season with the McLaren product, of course. They're one of Australia's prominent McLaren dealerships, but John's doing a superb job behind the wheel of that car, filling in for Josh this weekend.
And that enables Josh just to focus on the TCR title defence, doesn't it? So lights on here for the Mustangs as they climb the mountain once again. Let's see what Ryder Quinn does. He was pretty speedy toward the end of Mountain Straight here. So Seaton and Medicki are mid-track. He again's got a good run in the draft. He's on the outside here, though, and they have pulled a couple of car lengths on Tim Lay.
There's 47 minutes to go, so still a little bit of time, Ryder, to get past. He knows he's not going to do anything too silly too early on.
Is he?
No, I take it back. Shouldn't have said it out loud.
Well, the other thing as well to think with this is remember, there's a mandatory pit stop in the middle of this race, and these drivers will hand over to their co-drivers, which in the respect of where we're looking at the race now will be the AM component of a Pro-Am combination. So Lockie Dalton will hand over his car to Ben Newman, George Medicki to Ryland Gray, so it means it'll go faster. Wow, Quinn down the inside at McPhillamy Park. But the move wasn't quite there, and Aaron Seaton just held on. He is trying to force his way through that Ford Mustang, whether Aaron likes it or not.
That's given Viscount Lay a bit of ground. He's made his way back up there. So,
but to finish the point on the pit stop thing, they need to get themselves in the best possible position they can to hand over to the second driver.
How good are some of the second drivers? I mean, you mentioned Ryland Gray there a moment ago. Very good.
Tommy Heyman.
Cody Bircher. Yeah.
And it's great to see, you were just mentioning before, Krause, here he goes though. Ryder Quinn making his presence known down Conrod, and he's going to get that job well and truly done. Covers off on the inside, defends exceptionally nicely, does Ryder Quinn from Seaton, and that is the job done. Ryder will be stretching the legs and in the mirrors of George Medicki.
See, Ryder, how much easier is it to do it at the Chase than McPhillamy Park, mate? Textbook pass, Bathurst style. Nice move. Man, he's got some car speed at the moment.
4.4 seconds is the advantage that Lockie Dalton has over George Miedeke. He has the quickest lap of the race, and it's a 2:15.75. So Dalton, who's raced in Trans Am, in Super 2, and has jumped aboard this Mercedes AMG GT4, really doing the job here at the moment over Miedeke. And now Ryder Quinn is closing there.
He's been released, and very quickly in the mirrors of Miedeke, which also plays at this stage into the hands of Lockie Dalton. And Tassie, he has closed that gap, Ryder Quinn, so quickly. And the strength of this BMW. One of the things I love about Speed Series is the different tracks that we go to see an AMG Mercedes out front, where Marcus Flack was absolutely dominant in Sydney Motorsport Park. This is just such cool racing. And the young gun Ryder Quinn on George Miedeke, who, as you already mentioned, Rusty, will be bringing in more of these Mustangs, and haven't they had a fantastic year so far? Down through the S's they go. Ryder Quinn will be maybe just measuring up, George, for this lap.
He's lit up the timing board, James. He was quickest in the first sector. Ryder Quinn. Across the top, it was Lockie Dalton, though, so the Mercedes AMG glued nicely over the top of the hill. What did Ryder do relative to that? It was a bit down, but he's obviously in the chase here, chasing George. Let's see if he gets close enough. Doesn't look like it at the moment. On the run down, Conrod.
Ford V8 versus BMW straight 6. A bit of forced induction on it, and here he goes down the inside again. So Quinn too good under brakes. Miedeke smart to let him go through. They're in different races. Miedeke racing for the silver class honours, Ryder in Pro-Am. So he really needs to go out after Lockie Dalton in that AMG. And while this has all been going on, Dalton's been doing low 2-minute 15s. Everyone else in the 17s at the moment, although Ryder now clear does a 16.0. So as a result, Dalton 5.5 seconds up the road from this battle pack. That's what clean air does for you.
BMW's handy down Conrod, isn't it? Because Tim Lay's also just had the fastest final sector of the race in that third car in the queue that you can see there, the black BMW. So he's nicely placed in position 5 and really closing in here on Aaron Seaton, who has a choice to make here. He sort of half shows the nose to George, but at the same time, it's about kind of shutting the door to Tim.
How good's Timmy Lay going? Under Aaron Seaton, George Miedeke and Ryder Quinn. He's a car dealer from the Central West of New South Wales, but he's such an experienced, accomplished driver. Still the quickest ever guy around here in a production car in Bathurst 6-hour trim, a race that he's won with his good mate Barry Clinton. I'm sure Bez is watching on from Queensland. He got one of these cars too.
Exactly.
And Ryder, now he's in clean air, is setting purple sectors. So he'll hand that car over to Steve Jackie. He wants to get it as close as he can to the back of that AMG when he does, because I think that battle between Newman and Jackie could be really good for the Pro-Am honours.
It's Tony Quinn at the moment. Ryder's granddad down in 19th spot at the moment. I had a word to his partner Kate yesterday, who was telling me that in between practice sessions they were going out to farm machinery and tractor dealerships looking at equipment. I think they went to a store closer to Orange, which had all sorts of cowboy hats and the like. TQ's bought a little farm to the north of Brisbane, and he is loving it. Absolutely, it's changed him. I don't know what's going on there, but anyway, he's loving it.
Why is he shopping around here then? I mean, great to support the local region.
Yeah, see what you got to have a look at the tractors, don't you?
Okay. Tim Ray might do him a deal with ute or something like that from one of his dealerships in Orange. Let's set that up. No commission required. No. Dalton, 15.1, 14.9 for Ryder Quinn. Now, there's no official lap record established yet for Monochrome GT4 because this is the first time they've run as a standalone category here at Mount Panorama. But remember, 12 months ago, they ran within the Australian production car ranks, and the lap record then was set by Shane Smolin at 2 minute 14.891. So they're going to give that a nudge, and I suspect they might break that. These are in perfect conditions too. Track still with a lot of temperature, but the ambience come down. So the forced induction cars in particular are going to be making really good horsepower right now. So perfect track conditions for fast lap times, and fast racing car drivers for fast lap times as well.
So a quick class update for you. Lockie Dalton leading the way in outright terms, top of Pro-Am at the moment. Silver class being led by that Lubramax Mustang, third outright in the hands of George Miedeke. And the best of our AM competitors at the moment, Jamie Augustine in the BMW and down in 9th place.
Just want to give a quick shout out to Zoe Woods, who unfortunately had that bit of a wide run through turn 1. But last time out in Sydney Motorsport Park, that car was so rapid, made the podium, and the team were just absolutely stoked, overjoyed. So to be able to see someone like that and that team celebrate then, and to obviously be back at the mountain doing cool things, is really, really cool to watch. And also just again to shout out John Collins, as you mentioned earlier, Crailsy. The fact that the teammate there, Jason, if you think about his driver stats, he started, I think, 5 races and won 3 of them.
Yeah. It's a good strike rate.
I don't think you're going to get better than that. Josh Bucket, I said this to him yesterday, and he said, yeah, I basically said, mate, are you sure you want to enter any more races? Because the stats-wise, you're looking pretty good.
Surprised isn't the right word, nor is bemused, but yeah, just taking it all in, I think, with that podium they had, the win at Sydney Motorsport Park in the second race there on the Sunday. Just exchanging looks with my colleague up here in the commentary box while
you were listening to the sound of the car.
Well, I was certain we were going to hear crunch, because they are driving these things so hard off the top of the mountain that they're making tyre noise, which you don't generally get in GT style racing. Sort of chatter across the front axles of these cars as they barrel them off the top of the mountain.
Dalton set a new fastest lap then to a 2 minute 14.88. There's another example of what Richard's talking about. So absolutely leaning on this Mercedes AMG GT4 to the point where he's now eked out a 6.1 second lead over Ryder Quinn, who has another 3.5 over George Miedeke. They're your top
3. The GT4 version of the AMG GT, so it's the same essential car that you'll see in Fanatec GT World Challenge that Triple Eight are running this weekend. But that was close. Once we get over the wincing, I'll tell you about engines, because when they did the GT3 car, they just lifted the drivetrain out of the SLS, the Galway GT3 car that was so successful, a backless winner, championships around the world, the normally aspirated car. Have a look at this. Come back to it.
Did that brush?
Scrape.
If it didn't, it's nothing in it. Oh, goodness me.
So they lifted the normally aspirated 6.2 litre AMG engine into the GT3 car. The GT4 car, though, while it's the same body and chassis, runs the turbo 4 litre V8. So it's a different drivetrain to the GT3 version. So that's the point of difference between GT4 and GT3 in the Mercedes AMG camp. This battle continues. Mustang, and BMW once again fighting it out at the 3rd, 4th and 5th. Chris Stubbs.
Richard Crowe, you detailed it earlier that we have had a title decided today. Before we really turned a wheel in this race, Shane Smolin defending your title. Congratulations. That's an enormous achievement. You must be super proud.
Yeah, look, great to go back to back when you see the sort of competition that's out there at the moment and the speed of these front cars. It really is rewarding to pull a win, and first win for Chaz's team, Meta Motorsport, and really a just reward also for the guys who in some cases have been with me for 15 years. So it's a fantastic day.
Shane, can you tell us what's Chaz like as a boss? Does he get in your ear if you make a mistake? What sort of leader is he of your team?
No, honestly, he is. He's good fun. He's very constructive, very serious about his driving, and it's just great to see this evolution of his life. Like he's driving obviously very, very well in supercars. Disappointing to see him drop out of the race for number 1, but I think he'll be a real contender next year, obviously. Had a beautiful little baby this year, and started his own race team. So it's just, he's stepping forward while I'm just trying to hang in there.
Well, you're doing more than just hanging in there. Yourself and Lockie have done a great job. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Thank you. Let's go and have a crack.
Great to hear from a champion there, a newly crowned champion, but a guy I'm rapt to see back in pit lane. Grant Denyer, mate, you're behind the wheel of a McLaren. You're here at Bathurst. How good is life?
I know, it's as good as it gets. Laps around here in a McLaren. It's such an exotic, beautiful car that you desired as a kid and had a poster of on your wall. You never really get the idea that maybe one day I could drive one, but it's actually nice to be reunited with it. I won a championship with McLaren in about 8 years ago, so it's sort of nice to be sort of back in it now in this GT4 category that's going so good, helping Anthony Sewell, adapt because he's brand new to the series. So it's so much fun.
You've been around this sport forever.
Yeah.
And probably, I grew up in it as well. You've grown up in it as well. How good is it? GT4, let's go on that for a second. It's just come out with a bang, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, mate. And I'm with you. My first Bathurst, I slept in the back of a Toyota Corolla in the back of the pit. I'm about the only bloke who could lie down flat in the back seat of a Corolla. But since then, mate, I've been doing every year here since about 1999. So I've probably done about 10,000 laps around this place. So when someone like Anthony comes along in a new category like GT4, the cars are hot, the racing's awesome, the spread across the marks is amazing, and then just sort of help him dial into an aero car when he's from a production car background. I give him a couple of tips here and there as a local. You know what? That's a cool weekend.
Mate, what's even cooler, the family here as well, I notice in the background.
Yeah, I know. They don't really give two hoots that I'm on television for a living, but they get excited when I'm in a race car. They're like, "Dad, you're finally cool. You're in a car." And I was like, "Okay." It's nice when you finally get their love.
And your dad's here as well, I think I saw before.
Yeah. So we got 3 generations of Denyers here, which is really beautiful. So it's it's nice to know that a couple of championships along the way, a few podiums here at Mount Panorama over the years. It's been pretty good to me, this sport. I love it very much.
And I should say, this is a guy that taught me how to do the pit lane roll a long time ago as well. So thank you, Grant.
You're much better than me, mate.
Thanks, Grant. Good luck.
Thank you, mate.
I can remember him stitching a deal together with, I think it was Just Cunts back in the day when he did one of his first ever races here. And because he's so clever with, all that stuff, marketing around it, he had a haircut before he jumped in the car, before he jumped in for a stint. Great stuff. Nice to catch up with him. Terrific to see that the family's all here too. So we saw a moment ago there the car that he's campaigning as well, incidentally running 5th in the AM class at the moment, but being chased, being pressured by Mark Griffith in the Mercedes AMG there, car 19. So that's a good little battle unfolding between those guys.
Yeah, Sully's a really good driver. Caught up with him earlier in the weekend as well, coming out of production cars, as Grant said. Grant won the silver class in the Bathurst 12 Hour this year in a GT3 Lambo. He's a serious little pedaler. Yeah. Really cool to see. To know Craig was here, I'll go and catch up with him. One of the great legends of motorsport broadcasting in this part of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Commentary and series category management. It's like we started V8 Utes back in the day. So wonderful legacy, and cool to have a family here in the paddock this weekend. Lockie Dalton leads the race. He's gone very quickly too. That charge from Ryder Quinn just sort of levelled out. I reckon he's probably used the best of the Pirelli tyre on the BMW in getting past these Ford Mustangs. So the gap is 7.8 seconds, Dalton to Quinn. George Meineke third, just edged away from Aaron Seaton, who's still got Tim Lay locked to the rear bumper of that Mustang.
While we were hearing from both Shane Smolin and Grant Denyer there a moment ago, there was a little moment for the iSeek Mustang here with Aaron Seaton at the top of the mountain, leaving the track, not necessarily gaining an advantage per se, slotted back into exactly the same spot, but it's given Tim Lay a bit of vigour again in that battle. So it's been a good one. There's not much in it between these three, is there? And if anything, I think it's allowing Lockie Meineke to close in on them in the background there.
Well, just under 32 minutes remaining for Monochrome Australia GT4. And Motorsport Australia now advising that the pit window is now open. So some of the strategy that Crailsey mentioned before will come into play here. The different time allowances, I suppose, for want of a better word, these different cars have. And it's all strategic. It might seem like it's all up front as we see in the lane now. Comes the Porsche of Zoe Woods with Gilson. As I mentioned earlier, they had a really, really good time. So they're going to try and the undercut here.
Daniel Gilson qualified 4th for his race in his qualifying session, which will set the grid for tomorrow's race. So it's an outstanding job. He's been the spanner on that car, the mechanic. He's been running the tools on it and got the call up to jump aboard with Zoe at Sydney Motorsport Park, and they had a really good weekend. So they've decided to keep him in that race car.
We had a good old chat there with Grandinho. I'm glad we didn't hold him up much longer because the car's in for a stop and he's got his helmet on. He's good to go. Tony Quinn is in the lane as well. He's going to be busy over summer. His book has just gone #1 in its division in New Zealand again, the latest edition of it. So he's brought it sort of up to date compared to the original. Bit has happened in his life and in business since then. So what's going on here? Let's go to Cam firstly.
I've just got JB walking past me. He missed his pit box, and so they've had to pull him back in order to do the pit stop properly. He's missed it by about 5 garages. I went to grab him, and JB just walked straight past me. So a little bit of drama for the 32.
He knows you well, Cam. I'm sure he will give you a chat at some point, JB, but yeah, he still takes his racing very seriously, especially this program with Randall Racing. Into the lane comes George Miedeke. So Aaron Seaton staying out to maximise track time for Jason Gomersall, who'll take over in the second half of the race. But attacking the pit lane speed limit, it was Tim Lay, and if there wasn't contact there, it was really close.
Does look like there's a... Oh, there might be a little bit of damage on the front of the BMW. We'll have a look at that. We'll
get Cam and or Stubbsy to go and find out whether there's a little bit of trading paint between these two big rear-wheel drive fast coupes. So Jake Camilleri's in as well. Marcus Flack will hand over to Tommy Heyman. Lubramax team go to work. But saying they're attacking the curbs, and they both maximise that pit lane speed limit line. So it's 115 seconds a pit stop in Monochrome GT4 this weekend, plus the penalty time. So if you won at the last round, you get 15 seconds. If you were second, you get 10 extra seconds, and if you were third, you get 5. So George Miedeke was second in their class, so their pit stop will be 10 seconds longer as Lockie Dalton drops some wheels off at the top of the mountain. Dalton's got 5 seconds extra. So that early track position that he gained will be very, very valuable.
And that's really going to hurt Flack and Heyman in the McLaren too, because they haven't been able to get it together for this round. But as I said earlier, they were absolutely dominant in Sydney Motorsport Park. But both of those can pedal a car to Marcus Flack, handing over to Tom Heyman, who has been really, really good in Trans Am's TA2s.
The other irony for this is we've been talking up John Collins, right? And Johnny's coming just for this weekend, but they've got 15 seconds on that car for the work that Josh Buchan did with Jason Yu at Sydney Motorsport Park. So poor old drive. Poor old drive. But it's going to cost you 15 seconds. Sorry. There is JB. I'm sure Cam will get his man at some point.
Cam does all Ray Martin, so that's why...
he's very persistent.
Yeah, exactly. That's why JB's wanted off. We'll get him when he calms down. So all good. Dalton has 8.4 seconds, the fastest lap of the race, and he's been hustling. He keeps out there at the moment in that Buckley Motors Mercedes AMG entry. There it is.
Cody Bircher out of the lane, having jumped aboard the Tim Lane BMW, and Ryland Gray as well. So there's Bircher, almost a full lap down now on the Lockie Dalton car, but Dalton still yet to pit, and Bircher has beaten Ryland Gray out of the lane. So that is a change of track position between the Central West Prestige BMW and the Lubramax Ford Mustang. And that's just on account of pit stop time. So that's sometimes how the cookie crumbles in this style of racing, and this time it's crumbled in the general direction of Cody Bircher, who's in a really good position.
Had a really good chat yesterday with George Miedeke about this whole program and how much they're enjoying it. And his dad is really Andrew, who's very well known in Australian motorsport circles, very good driver in his own right, is hands-on in that program. And George kind of paused and almost looked me in the eye and said, you know what, if Dad wasn't here with me to be a part of it, he said, I don't know that I necessarily want to do it. It's a really special thing that they're getting the time to enjoy that. Back to Cam now.
Did go and get him in the end, John Bow. You ran past me before when I went to put a microphone in your face. We'll talk about the first bit. Missed the pit stop by about 5 garages. It's a pretty big pit lane here. Did you just not see the sign?
Mate, I made a proper balls up of it. I focused on another pit board. We hadn't been using one this weekend, so that's my excuse, but it's no real excuse. So, yeah, it was complete my cock-up.
That's all right, JB. It's all right. The commentators were finding it quite funny that I couldn't get a grab out of you because it was like the old days, mate. You're once a racer, always a racer, hey?
Oh, well, I mean, I did this 25 years ago through a similar excuse, so... I mean, obviously, I haven't learned that much in 25 years. Sorry. I apologise to all the guys, but the car was going quite well, and I'm sure Jake will do a good job. But it was, I got banged at the first corner quite badly by the little Ginetta. So I didn't know whether it had any damage or not. But anyway. It is what it is.
Let's talk the good things, though. Randall Racing's going really well. Queensland Raceway was a great battle early on, and you're saying the car was good. That was a small moment in the pit lane. Car set up for the good back end of the race?
Yeah, I think it's going quite well. It's I don't know what the tyre pressures were, because the guys do the tyre pressures at the pit stop. They felt a little bit greasy. They might have been over pressure just a little bit. But, you know, I mean, basically it's a very good car. They're turnkey race cars, all these cars, so they're terrific.
Thanks, JB. He can do 40,000 laps and he still kicks himself.
Oh, mate.
Thanks, JB.
Thank you.
He doesn't need to be too hard on himself. He loves his racing, which is just super. I think we see him still at the wheel of the car. So while we're watching this, I mean, already Richard's detailed about the fact that our race leader after the pit stop for Bircher is on the tail of that car. So that's how much we're still waiting for Dalton to pit. Aaron Seaton, meanwhile, has come into the lane, and you can see it bottom right of your screen there.
So Lockie Dalton's stop is going to be 120 seconds. And I'm just trying to work out, well, I mean, he's almost exactly a full lap in front, and they're doing 2-minute 14s. So do some maths from there and extrapolate where he's going to come out. But I think Cody Bircher right now is looking really impressive. And that number 22 BMW stands a really good chance of leading this race on the run to the line. But we'll see how that all plays out. Aaron Seaton in the lane, that familiar helmet style that he's carried over from his great dad, Glenn. And he pops out of that car, and Jason Gomersall Motorsport car, the iSeek Racing, will jump aboard. He's a hugely experienced guy at this place. Lots of laps, safe pair of hands to take home the 71 Mustang with 22 minutes to go.
Dalton will hand over the car to Ben Newman once that stop takes place. Someone who's got a lot of experience around rallying. We talked about the connection there before for the upcoming round of the Australian Rally Championship. So need a little bit of this to shake out once the stops have actually happened for the likes of Lockie and Ryder Quinn and so on.
Do you wonder if there's a little bit of a car dealer cup occurring between the Buckby Motors team, who are now, by the way, in pit lane, and the Miedeke team as they cruise past, and indeed the Viscount Central West Prestige team with Viscount Tim Lay. Chris Stubbs has found George Miedeke after a great opening stint.
It was a great opening stint. They're just saying, is it a little bit of the car salesman cup out there at the moment, hey? You're going all right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, Benny's got a great driver in Lockie. He was absolutely walking away, but yeah, I was pretty happy with my stint. I don't think I had the ultimate pace, but had a good start, as I've sort of been having a few good starts lately, and yeah, just worked to consolidate from there. You know, Ryder wasn't in my race, so I let him go, and then yeah, pushed into the stop.
Talk to us about the stop. Grant Denyer being released by the team, and you've trotted on down the lane just to acknowledge that, yeah, wasn't all that impressed with that release by the team.
Yeah, but look, that was in the heat of the moment, to be honest. I'll go and apologise to them. It's fair's fair. I mean, really, they should have watched out. Obviously, we were the next team along, but at the same time, it's the heat of the moment, and they're trying to get a good result, and all power to them. You know, the great thing about these stops, they are, you know, they're timed from the pit entry to the pit exit, so we just pulled up a little bit long as we had to avoid the crash, and still managed to get out in time, so no harm, no foul.
George, people in TV, it's all me. He just thought you'd give way and you just let him go, hey?
It's Gold Logie winner, what could you say?
Mate, well done, thanks for your time.
Thanks, mate.
Just to have this car in this class, and to know that the numbers of GT4 spec Mustangs are growing, and we're very excited about new additions for 2025. And when it took its first victory globally at Phillip Island earlier this year, I think Jim Farley, the American CEO, was in the UK at the time, but he phoned, didn't he? He was so proud of what they'd achieved there at the island. So it was a very special moment for Monochrome Australia GT4, and especially for the Miedeke family.
So down to Murray's, past the National Motor Racing Museum comes Cody Bircher, and Ben Newman has left the lane. So that is going to be for the net race lead. So there is the Mercedes AMG heading up Mountain Straight, and chasing him down, just going into turn 1 now, will be, well, Steve Jackick first, and then it will be Cody Bircher flying. But what a great start it was for the co-driver in car 23, Cam.
Yeah, I've got Lockie Dalton straight out of the car. Ben Newman's in a very good position, so great stint.
Yeah, it was good. The car's really hooked up thanks to the Buckby Motors Group. Yeah, the boys have done an awesome job. I love coming away weekends with these boys. It's nice, relaxed, and a bit of fun.
We saw this car first come out at Tasmania before the category had even rolled out at Phillip Island. Ben Newman set his sights on growing into the category. Have you found that you've been able to help him on his journey as well?
Yeah, I hope so. He's very new to circuit racing. He's got a lot of rally background, so it's more or less pulling him back. He's braver than me most of the time, so he's pretty good to work with, and he's, travelling really, really good so far.
How much confidence have you got that he can bring this one home?
I've got no pressure on him at all. He's not here to really go out there and win. It's just a bit part of it now that I've joined to the team where I'm going all right, but he can just do laps, get experience. That's all he needs, and then in a few years we'll come back and try and win it.
Now, from your perspective, what are the strengths of this car around Bathurst compared to some of the chasing cars?
I think the braking's really solid. It's a little bit tricky getting down the mountain. It's, at the moment, just how we've tuned it, it's a little bit twitchy, but we're not going to tune it just for one corner. It's pretty good everywhere else.
Well done and good luck.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, doing very well from Tassie, both of them, and that Buckby Motorsport entry, or Buckby Motors entry, I should say. Rusty, I know that a friend of the broadcast, Molly Taylor, is who is a sort of a relationship there. A bit interested about maybe steering one of these one day, just to give Molly a little bit of love as well.
She goes quiet when I ask her about it. There's obviously a connection between Buckby Motors and what she's been doing with the Subaru program and the Australian Rally Championship and so on in Production Cup. But I wouldn't mind betting, if we can twist her arm a bit, that she may have had a steer of it somewhere, and hopefully we get to see her at the wheel of it at some point. I reckon that'd be a cool story. Just quickly, while we're focused on this battle on screen here, Motorsport Australia Race Control, a warning for car 56 for pit lane speeding across the pit entry line. Everyone try to maximise the pun on the entry. So that's the Rob Rubis Janetta that copped that warning there.
That wasn't even the one we were
thinking it was.
Yeah, watching with that battle between the BMW and the Mustangs. Speaking of Mustangs, a little tactical ploy there. Jason Gomersall made it extremely easy for Ryland Gray just to jump out of the way. Now, there are different classes. Ryland Gray's in the silver class. Gomersall currently 3rd in Pro-Am, 5th on the road. But just a little free kick there for Ryland to not delay him, because he knows that Ryland Gray has got bigger sights. One of them is Cody Bircher, who's next up the road and leading silver. And then there's the two race leaders outright in Ben Newman and Steve Jackick, who are 1 and 2. And when they come around next time, we're going to be able to give you a little bit of a lap time count to see who's where with 17 minutes to go. But I can tell you that the top 5 are all compressing, especially the top 4. And the car in 4th place at the moment is the fastest of the lot.
Let's go to the lane, Ken.
Big elephant stamp for entertainment to this guy, Ryder Quinn, mate. That was so much fun to watch. How was it behind the wheel?
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. Like, we didn't have the best quali, but still coming off 5th, we knew that we could do something. But just by the time I got to the Merc, he was already gone and couldn't quite match the pace. So for a little bit there, it was good. And yeah, I bet made it quite entertaining. Almost a 3 wide into turn 2. But yeah, I just tried my best. We put a bit of a buffer, but who knows? We'll see.
I heard Richard Craill, I swear, hold his breath and take a big, deep gasp, and so did Greg Rust. How were you behind the wheel? There were a couple of big attempted moves as well, let alone the ones you actually pulled off.
Yeah. And the beam is so big and you can't see where you are. So you're just praying when you're coming through Skyline. You just hope there's not a wall there. But you're also hoping that you're close enough. So, yeah, Richard, sorry, mate. But, look, I need to keep you guys on the toes. So.
Right, last question for you. Confidence for the rest of this race, Steve? Going to go okay?
Yeah, I hope so. He has, it's his first time here in this car. So I've told him, open, your last lap on the last race has to be your fastest lap. So, look, who knows where we're going to end up. But, yeah, I'm confident.
Mate, thank you for the entertainment.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
Yeah, I'd second that. No need to apologise, Zed. Absolutely, thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great. I'm open to anyone trying to pass it in Philby Park as long as they pull it off or come out the other side. That was outstanding racing. You saw a change of position there with Cody Bircher going past, so that's for second place. And with 15 minutes to go, Bircher is hauling in now Ben Newman, the race leader, and was 5 seconds a lap quicker last time by. And now Ryland Gray is going to get up the inside, the run up to 3, and then the cutting to get himself to 3rd on the road and past that Pro-Am car. So this is all starting to compress. They're going to get to Ben Newman. Bircher and Ryland Gray, as well as being in different classes, are at a different point of their racing careers. Ben's still getting up to speed. As you heard Lockie Dalton say, the battle for the race win and indeed silver class is going to be Bircher versus Gray at the end of this one, and they're both in very, very fast race cars.
So just over 15 minutes remaining. Outright lead is about to be challenged here. Bircher right on the tail of Newman as they descend the mountain, and you can see visibly the difference in speed. So Bircher's got confidence, and he's also looking over his shoulder, if that's at all possible, knowing that Ryland Gray is there. So this is a tasty battle happening here at the moment. He's going to do it down the inside at the elbow.
Oh, Ryland,
well done.
Ryland commits as well. Had to go, had to get that pass done so he can stay in touch with Cody Bircher. So now these are the two leaders, outright and in the silver class. Love the shot from above. That was cool.
Look at the Intimidator. The Intimidator in the Mustang. Ryland Gray flashing the lights at Cody Bircher. Now, this is both the outright and the silver class battle, isn't it? So Bircher leading the way. Best of our Pro-Am competitors is Newman. And then our Am class sideways through there. In 9th, or in fact in 10th position at the moment, is the 33 of Jamie Augustine, and Peter Lawrence rather at the wheel of that car right now.
We talk about young guns and how the youth is growing in Australia. Well, he's not a man yet because he turns 18 at the end of this month, Ryland Gray. Might as well say so.
Yeah,
but the fact that he is 17 years old, he has done as much as he has done. He's done Aussie racing cars, he's raced XLs, he's done the 6 hour, of course. He's gone to GT4 in Germany, he's of course doing the Super 2, Super 3 Touring Car Masters. The young man from Denman in New South Wales is absolutely on it, and one of the things that I have loved is how much praise George Medicke has had for him and giving him this opportunity, and just how rapid they were in Phillip Island. It's really sort of been able to skyrocket his podium finishes, and they're very well deserved.
James, I think we should celebrate the fact that you know, George Medicke and even Tim Lay, for that matter, with Cody Bircher, have taken these young racers under their wing, given them the opportunity and that kind of mentoring. And Ryland has, I mean, we knew he was fast, there was no doubt about that. This has been a great program for him to be a part of.
What this is also going to do, boys, is keep the championship well and truly alive into tomorrow for silver class. So Ryland and George took 2 points out of the class leaders in qualifying by virtue of their pair of pole positions. So 23 points now, it's 25 for a win. So if he can get past Cody Bircher, it's 25 championship points. And right now, Tom Heyman and Marcus Flack, who lead the class, are only 4th in silver. So there will be quite a decent swing the way of the Ford Mustang going into tomorrow's final race. So there's still very much championship in the offing here. And Tom Heyman will need to work his way past Jake Camilleri, if possible, to get onto the podium in silver class and get some more points on the board.
While we're watching this outright and silver class battle here, just need to keep a little eye on Grant Denyer. He lit up the timing board there before with the fastest time that we have seen in the final sector. Now, he has just taken 3rd in the Am class, so he's moved up to 12th outright. And if you look at the gaps in the Am class, he's a chance of wrestling that from both Lawrence and Love ahead of him. Here it is here. Oh, great stuff.
Oh, down the inside. Oh, is there room there, Grant? Yeah, you're right. He set the purple 3rd sector of the race. Fastest final sector of the race, G. Denyer. Maybe saw home over the hill and some home cooking, maybe? I don't know. This is a huge battle. It's great stuff. And just tacking onto the back of that is the TechWorks car as well of Andrew Georgiadis, who's driving with Romeo Farrell this year, or this weekend. They've been rivals in Michelin Sprint Challenge in Porsche one-mate competition. So the Bailey Love car gets passed by Pete Lawrence, and then Denyer trying to squeeze his way through. AMG one side, BMW the other. McLaren threads the eye of the needle and gets them both and gets the AM class lead. Oh! Wow. That's like being the crowd at a footy game. That was a tackle that was well laid.
And that gives while this is going on here, that gives Denyer the lead in the AM class. All of that as it unfolded in the chase moves into the class lead.
Oh, Love drops it. He dropped it wide at Murray's. Griffo had a couple of wheels off. The two red AMGs are boxing on. Georgiada's right in the thick of this. Oh, no carpets. Get it, stop Bailey, he does.
That was a huge moment.
And through it all, serenely, seemingly, Grant Denyer has wrestled the AM class lead away in his 10th outright. That was awesome. So Anthony Sewell could be on for a class victory here, just to put a full stop on those dramas we saw in pit lane. There's a drive-through penalty coming the way of Scotty Turner for 56 and 19. That's Mark Griffith, who is in the thick of all of that. It's going to get a drive-through too for a pit stop infringement.
I wonder if that's to do with what we flagged before with the 56 in relation to speeding at the pit entry. So anyway, they've been monitoring that and have acted before the end of this race. Just under 10 minutes remaining. Monochrome Australian GT4, their first race appearance that is, of the weekend on 7+. But we have more action coming your way tomorrow. Really looking forward to bringing you Fanatec.
Oh, no! You can't do that. That was messy. That was really messy. Griffo looked down the inside. Big contact. Somehow they're all going to drive away from that. The other cars were off on driver's right, took evasive action. The Porsche, here it is. So Griffo's got the lights flashing and gets into the rear quarter of Lawrence in the BMW, which forces them both into the wall on the left-hand side, but all of the speed had washed off. Georgiadis went out wide and was in the gravel, and Love was able to get a spot through that.
That's unbelievable. That car, the nose was almost not quite pointing to the sky, but certainly at what let's call it 45 degrees. That was unbelievable. Climbed the back of the BMW.
As we saw with Ryder, it's just so rarely a passing place unless the car in front is dramatically off the pace. Really awkward. Really awkward.
And could have been a heck of a lot worse too, couldn't it?
Did well for both of them really to just get off of the power. Peter Lawrence there.
Something's happened with sorry, James. Something's happened with Cody Burgess too. Has he run a little wide at the top? Yeah, shortcut at the top of the mountain. Meantime, is that Griffo coming into the lane now?
Well, the thing's probably going to have 4 degrees of lock left hand down. So Burgess had the shortcut at the top of the hill. They're just negotiating Tony Quinn to put him a lap down, and that's dragged Ryland Gray right to the back of the BMW again. I wonder, so Motorsport Australia Race Control, James Taylor, the race director, Lawrence is in the lane as well, and he just drove past our commentary box and there were hands flying around in the cockpit of the BMW. He looks fuming.
There's some fluid coming out of that BMW as well. I could just spy as it came past. It's devastating. You can't do that. It's messy, as you said.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for us to judge that one way or another. That's Craig Baird and James Taylor up in race control. That's their job. They will look at that, but it's certainly not the kind of driving standards they're after. This battle for the lead is raging, and Ryland Gray is locked up behind Cody Burcher. So the young bloke from Orange and another young bloke from country New South Wales are boxing on for the lead, and there's a real opportunity for a pass up here at Griffin's Bend. Ryland got a run, and Burcher parks the thing in the middle of the road, and there's no pass yet. While this battle settles down as they get to what is usually single file bits of racetrack at the top of the mountain, let's jump down into the Layman camp.
Back to the lane there. In fact, it might have been Stubbsy standing by. We might try and take you back there. Our cameras in the meantime.
Yep, I'm here.
Let's go, Chris.
Stubbsy.
Well, you can see that here there's a bit of reaction there following that incident up at the top of the mountain. Yeah, it's fair to say that it's spicy. I think that's what will. I might just try to jump in here. Wish me luck, guys. Wish me luck.
Go.
Can we just get some reaction? I mean, that's a wild moment up there.
Oh, that was out of control, mate. You got belted from behind. Anyway, I don't want to talk right now.
No, obviously you heat up. I appreciate your time, but you're okay. I mean, that's the heart rate.
That's okay. Mate, that's puts the wind up. I'll give you the tip.
Yeah, all right, Pete. Thanks for your time.
No worries. Thanks.
There you go. A bit happening.
Yeah, great stuff. Stubbsy, well done. So that was Pete Lawrence from Randall Racing, who was one half of that really awkward incident at McPhillamy Park with Mark Griffith in the other, and you saw Griffo sitting in his Mercedes AMG. So that one will be digested late into the Saturday evening here in Bathurst town on what's been a cracking day of racing at the Supercheap Auto Bathurst International. 5 minutes to go in this one. This is the battle for the lead, and we all jumped back a foot from the TV while we were hearing from Stubbsy, not at what was going on there, and pit lane race control have deemed a drive-through penalty for Mark Griffith for that contact. So he's just left the lane. He's going to have to visit it again, but damage done there.
Well, this is a replay.
So Lawrence has gone down to Valente Rosso, who runs the Love Motorsport car. But there were two red AMGs involved in that. Yeah. So Mark Griffith is going to get a drive-through penalty for driving infringement, which was for that contact at the top of the mountain. In the meantime, these two continue trading lap times. Less than a second between them for the battle for silver class. There's championship implications on the line, and Ryland Gray needs to get past Cody Bircher to try and get as many championship points as he possibly can to close that margin down to Tom Heyman and Marcus Flack, who lead the series.
And he is wringing the neck of this Mustang, Crailsy. That's why we sort of took a step back from our screens here, because he is pushing this Mustang hard, and these Pirellis, he is going to use every single bit of them with 3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining through the S's section of the track where he got a little bit loose. And they'll love this shot. This is a beautiful drone shot and a wonderful Saturday afternoon here at Mount Panorama. And there is still 3.5 minutes of action to run.
Yeah, one little mistake from either of these two young guys at the front and the race will change. And to show you how hard they're pushing, Cody Bircher is on to set his car's personal best lap of the race on lap 21. 53 minutes of really intense GT4 racing.
So Griffo comes into the lane to serve that penalty. So Bircher leading the way in outright terms here in the Central West Prestige BMW, also leading silver class. Newman leads in Pro-Am, but this battle, as you can see here, is game on. Gomersall is right there. So there's quite a fight going on. Shane Smolin, Steve Jacket there. So this is going to be really good to watch. And Grant Denyer, as we detailed before, leading the AM Class 10th outright.
So they've all got a bit Noah's Ark on us at the moment because they've all grouped together. So silver class 1, 2, 3 and 4 on the road. And then this fight, which is basically all the Pro-Am contenders. So Ben Newman leading Pro-Am, Gomersall second in Pro-Am. The orange BMW there is Steve Jakic. He's third in Pro-Am. Fourth is Shane Smolin in the Porsche. And not far behind them is Daniel Gillison in the TechWorks car. The Iron Boats entry in 9th on the road and 5th in class. And then you go back to 1, 2, 3 in the AM class, which, as Rusty mentioned, is Grant Denyer leading for Bailey Love and Andrew Georgiadis in 3rd. So this is all shaped up really well, and there is a battle on track for the lead in every single class at the moment.
This is why we love GT4 racing.
Well, this has been the best race of the year for mine in terms of the class, inter-class competition and the way they've been fighting between themselves, and the level and the depth has just got so much better as the year has evolved, as this category has matured into the landscape, and the teams have got a handle on their cars and the drivers as well. Minute 30 to go, so when the clock gets to 0, it's +1 lap. So it'll be one more after this one, you'd feel. And Bircher with a little bit of breathing room out in front too. It's 1.4 seconds back to Ryland Gray. So you're not missing anything there. We're watching the battle for the lead in Pro-Am.
And up through the cutting.
I'm really nervous now, James, about someone making a move at McPhillamys Park again. I've seen far too much of that today.
Really getting the ideas from Ryder Quinn, who'll be watching on. His stepdad, who's now piloting the BMW round.
Oh, it's going to happen too. Gomersall looks down the inside of McPhillamys Park. They're all passing at the top of the mountain today. And in normal circumstances, it's complete madness, but they've pulled that off. And Jason Gomersall wrestles the Pro-Am lead away from Ben Newman at McPhillamys Park at the top of Mount Panorama.
Just as you said it. Nerves tick. Got it, because it's happened again. And it's still on here. Smollen up the inside as we go down. Conrod, a beautiful move up the inside of Jack Ick.
He went really wide at the right-hander before you get the car square and brake for the elbow. But it just gave him that little bit of extra momentum to send it down the inside of the BMW. And Steve Jackick finds himself now off the podium in the Pro-Am class. Bircher still leads the race and leads the silver class with Ryland Gray next. This has been fun, hasn't it?
It's been so good. The clock now down to 0. And so the opportunity for Gray, I don't want to say where he could consider parking passing, I should say. He's a bit too far back, really, to make that work anyway.
Well, it won't be McPhillamys, at least. We need too far back for that. Still, it'll be a good haul of championship points. So the silver class will go down to Grand Final Sunday here at Mount Panorama, as will Fanatec GT World Challenge, as will Super Cheap Auto TCR, as will First Focus Radical Cup. It's Grand Final day on the mountain tomorrow.
A fitting way for the final day of the Shannon Speed Series as well. Plenty of action to come, and we have absolutely loved it. Just getting confirmation from Motorsport Australia. The next lap will be the last 2 of Saturday's racing.
Still a bit in this. Jackie looking to work his way past Shane Smollen to get back on the podium in Pro-Am. Mercedes has been really solid today, and in Lockie Dalton's hands set the quickest lap of the race at a 2:14.7. That's hard in mouth. I've learned to not predict whatever's going to happen over the next part of the road. So here they come. 180 k's an hour in a GT4 car at McPhillamys Park. Smollen does take a quite shallow line to turn the car in there. And then they go off Rock Skyline and the world disappears beneath your feet. I'll need to fight another day, but let's watch Smollen, the Prestige Connect 718 GT4 Cayman, when they get down to the elbow, because that's where he made the move last lap. This could be for second and third in Pro-Am, and he's going to squeeze, and he's going to do it too. The little Porsche will work its way up a position, or will it? Because the Merc's got plenty of straight line, but there's no road out there. It's all grass and no grip. And as a result, Jackick goes through as well.
Yeah, Newman just had to get out of that one. There was no trying to maintain any sort of pace there, because that would have gone very, very poorly indeed. But Smollen getting the job done, and Jackick taking advantage of that situation. And this has been bubbling away. Smollen finds the clear air. Gomersall, though, in that class, a little bit further in front. As we take our eyes now to the front of the pack. Bircher from Gray and Camilleri from Heyman. Haven't seen too much of Camilleri or Heyman today.
That McLaren has been strangely anonymous today, James, in its performance. So they're 41 seconds behind Cody Bircher. They're 4th in the silver class, championship leaders. 23 points coming into this race. So at the moment, the Ryland Gray will score 18 points, and 4th place is worth 12. So it'll be a further 6-point swing the way of the Ford Mustang. So 23 will become 17, 18. It's been a long day. Maths is not my strong suit.
It's the same. I
but
trust you.
What it means is that the championship is still very much up for grabs.
We've just heard also from Motorsport Race Control that there will be a 5-second time penalty for car 1. So we're just being told that they weren't happy with that move that Smollen did for the squeeze. But here we go. Cody Bircher will take the checkered flag for Monochrome Australia GT4 from Rylan Gray and Camilleri. This has been an action-packed first race of the last Shannon Speed Series, and Monochrome GT4 is the first standalone event here at the mountain, and we absolutely love GT racing here, don't we, Crailsy?
Great race, really enjoyed that, good fun. We're waiting for Jake Camilleri to come to the line. It was the championship leader, Tom Heyman, in that pink and blue Method Motorsport McLaren Artura GT4. There's Jake Camilleri, another contender for the Car Dealers Cup that we've just invented, because he runs Grand Prix Mazda up in Brisbane and Caboolture. Tom Heyman in 4th place across the line, and that's the silver class 1, 2, 3 and 4. 5th place outright, Jason Gomersar wins the Pro-Am class in front of Shane Smollen, but he's got a 5-second penalty coming his way, and that will drop him down at least 3 positions, if not more. So Jackick and Quinn are going to end up 2nd in Pro-Am and 6th outright. Ben Newman and Lockie Dalton will be 3rd in the Pro-Am class. Grantley Denyer, he's got himself an Am class win today in that number 4 McLaren with Anthony Sewell. So well done, Sewell and GD. And Bailey Love home in a combative Am class. That was extraordinary. Andrew Georgiadis and Rami Farrell rounding out the top 3 in the Am class fight. Entertaining in every category. Monochrome GT4 Australia.
Let's take a look at your highlights now for Race 1 Super Cheap Auto Trade. Thank you to them for Monochrome Australia GT4. And it was Lockie Dalton who was absolutely able to stretch the legs of the AMG Mercedes. And it was Mustang on Mustang. George Miedeke on Aaron Seaton. Miedeke getting the best, but Ryder Quinn too was keen to get the job done. And Zoe Woods just getting the dust up there. And we didn't see this with Janetta getting sideways. And John Bow mentioned that to Cam Vanderdungen earlier on. And it was pacey towards the middle of this race, Crailsy.
This was an incredible fight. Ryder Quinn was making new places to pass and then settled for the chase. And one of the quickest corners in the sport. So that was one Mustang down, and then a lap later got up the inside of George Miedeke and put that bright orange BMW in a really good position to contend, which it did. Got a podium in the Pro-Am class as a result. Out in front, Heyman was flying in the Buckley Motors car, so didn't end up with the fastest lap of the race. Actually, stand corrected, they did end up with the fastest lap of the race and a GT4 lap record at Mount Panorama. Then the pit stops happened, and this was close. Cody Bircher using every last little bit of room to get on the 40k an hour limiter and maybe some contact with the back of the Lubramax Mustang. This was the race lead changing hands in terms of the outright fight, and Rylan Gray was out in pursuit of Bircher in front.
And the action didn't stop, and it wasn't just the front of the pack, it was everywhere you looked. And the number 4 McLaren of Grant Denyer sending it almost 3 wide down Conrad, and he would duck in here, almost forcing that AMG yet to put on the brakes, because here comes Grant Denyer. Thank you very much, I'll take that. 10th outright and first in the AM class for him. And that was a very well done pass. And this was the Love entry who just managed to pull it up. And this was scary to watch. Could have been a much worse incident than it was. That Mercedes AMG getting into the back of that BMW. Thankfully, everyone's okay. But it would be Cody Bircher from Rylan Gray to take out what was a very, very entertaining Monochrome Australia GT4.
Great race. Great race. And there's some championship implications here as well, with Rylan Gray and George Miedeke keeping the title battle alive going into Sunday, with one more 1 hour race to come. And that is going to be cool to watch. So Cody gets the win with the man we've dubbed Viscount Lay, the King of Orange. The Central West Prestige BMW's done the business today. That was outstanding. Loved Ryland Gray's work. He's such a speedy driver. Jake Camilleri, quite achiever today in third in silver. And in the end, Jason Gomersall, what a superb drive that was there in the 71 car. Anchored by Aaron Seaton at the start, but the IC car got the class win. And there are the two boys who have got the victory. And then the McLaren, of course, on top. 4 different brands in the top 4 outright in that race, by the way. So BMW, Ford, Mustang, Mercedes, AMG, McLaren. And then it's a Ford Mustang that beats BMW and Porsche in Pro-Am. And then McLaren beats Mercedes, AMG and Porsche in the AM class. Lots of variety, Cam, and that's what we love about Monochrome GT4.
We might grab some reaction shots here as well. While Grant Denyer gets out of the car, and he'll be very happy in that behind the wheel, as Anthony Sewell's also been put to work. Congratulations, AM class winners. Well done.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, well, it was a great win coming from the back. So it was great. Yeah, no, it was awesome. Awesome job. Great drive. Good on you, mate.
I'll let him get his helmet off in a second and put the hat on. We've got to make sure we get the right hats on. Look at this Pirelli hat over here. Anthony Sewell, heart in mouth stuff as he's passing 3 cars through the chase.
I trusted him, mate. I trusted him. Now he had it all under control. It was great work, and no, great job. Awesome. Yeah, it was awesome.
So we chatted to him just before he went out, said he enjoys it, brought the family here. You said you're a hero to your kids only when you're in a race car, and I think you lived up to that.
Hopefully they love Daddy a little bit more today. A bit faster than slashing the paddocks behind here on my tractor. That was really cool, man. That was some cool racing, some big passes there. It was busy, but it was fun.
I spoke to your dad as it was all unfolding. I said, "You're okay?" He goes, "Not really." So, mate, it must have been like passing trucks out there at one point.
Well, that's the problem when you've driven probably here every year since 99. You know where all the big crashes have been, so you're far aware of consequences, right? So you got to keep that in check and respect the place. But that was an absolute ball-tearing, amazing, good fun drive. I got to say thank you to Anthony Sewell for inviting me along, mate. And that was wow, I loved it.
Well done. AM class winners, Anthony Sewell, Grant Denyer, congratulations. We'll let them go past in the McLaren. Now to Pro-Am. We've got Jason Gomersall and Aaron Seaton. Come on over. Come on over, gentlemen. Pro-Am winners. A little bit of a question mark in there towards the end as well, but you got the job done. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was awesome. Obviously, Ford had given us a great car to be able to be here at an amazing racetrack. So Jace drove awesome. Really happy for both of us. And, you know, the car was great all race. So looking forward to tomorrow now and see if we can do the same again.
Some big moves towards the end to get the job done, though, Jason. How's the heart rate starting to come back down?
Yeah, it's bloody hot in there. No, it was good fun. Really good fun racing that pack. So I think I grabbed the Porsche up the top. That was the only way I was going to get him. He was pretty quick everywhere else. So, yeah, got the job done.
Well, gentlemen, congratulations. Well done on winning Pro-Am. That was a great job and really entertaining stuff. All right, let's head on over. They've given him a very special name. We've got Tim Lay and we've got Cody Bircher. We might start with you, Tim Lay. I feel like I'm interviewing you a lot in GT4 at the moment, mate. Congratulations on a win. They're already calling you now. You're no longer the Mayor of Orange. They're calling you the Viscount of Orange now. So I think you're going up and up with every race win.
I don't know, mate. I'll be at the retirement home soon. But, yeah, no, it was fantastic. Compared to where we were this morning, we really screwed up quali, and to have that result's cool, like really cool.
Between the two of you, I think it was up 7 spots in the end. Cody Bircher, silver class winners for you both. Great drive, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, Tim got a good start, and that made my job a little bit easier, but so I just went out there and went hell for leather for a bit, and kept catching those lap cars over the top, which didn't help anything, but once I got past the majority of them, I was able to pull a bit of a gap and then just hold that. So yeah, I just can't thank Tim enough for having me here, and obviously we want to go again and do the same tomorrow.
And when we talk about the battle of the car dealers, it looks like you're coming out on top again.
Yeah, my mate George. No, it's good. Well, the Medikis and I, we've got like these adopted sons we're bringing through in car racing too. He's got Ryland, I've got Cody, and no, it's good. It's great to watch. I was a bit nerve-wracking though. It is like I hate watching. I'm walking around, kicking the ground, but anyway, it was great result.
Congratulations, silver class winners.
Thank you.
And as Cody Bircher said there, it is only the first day. We've got another great Sunday to come our way and lots of titles to be decided.
Well, that's it. It's Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia. Will it be Josh Buck and will it be Zach Suter? Those guys tonight have to get some sleep and come back and fight for the title. We'll know who the victor is this time in 24 hours. And in Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia, similar situation, isn't it? Brad Schumacher, you've got Will Brown, then you've got Chaz Mostert and Liam Talbot. So we've got some big names, some fast cars. But my favourite thing of the day, Greg Rust, definitely Jimmy Manteuffel. in a club sport reversing over the line. We have seen it all today.
Yeah, we sure have. Full Ricky Bobby style, wasn't it, Talladega Nights? All right, don't forget you can join us on 7 Plus from about 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. We're on air in the afternoon, of course, on the screens of 7 as well. Huge day of action to come your way. It is the grand finale of the Shannon Speed Series here. A very special, a very emotional day to come, and one here at the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst International where we will crown champions. On behalf of Chris and all of our commentary team, it's bye for now.